Listen here to ask when you're going to change the experience in groups. In low pop servers, our lowest get crap XP, and same as the highest level get nothing. Solo is king. Group and social aspects are lacking. Well, I will definitely say we're not done dialing in experience, but trying to address the low pop issue and get the servers a little bit of a better shape is our number one goal right now, as far as that is concerned. We looked at EverQuest and looked at EverQuest group content, and we said we want something that is more mechanically challenging. We want to incorporate more of a modern ability arsenal and the kind of group synergy and tactical play that can come from having higher actions per minute, having, just a larger arsenal of different abilities and effects that players can synergize with, respond to, and that NPCs can as well. And we've actually put a lot of work into NPCs that have stronger tactics and things like that. I don't yet see making a change here as being a requirement to fulfill what we're trying to fulfill. That could change. I'm very open to it changing, but it's also could come down to it could also be as simple as there's just not enough content in the game. As we continue to develop out the game, the goal is for the mechanics and the world building and all these things kind of work together, where a 2 to 3 hour time frame is enough for you to get in somewhere and actually feel like you can meaningfully accomplish something and progress. We shouldn't need a stun rotation of group EXP. I agree. I do. And we've been discussing that too, that the game has become way too heavily revolving around interrupts. We agree, we recognize it, we're working on that. So that needs to improve. We're considering some options with Readiness, and the one that I would say is in the lead right now as far as a potential change is for Readiness just to be essentially a fixed resource in terms of how much it generates, and it being more of a Readiness generates this much, this often while in combat, period. And then having buffs that can increase that rate and various things to still allow for other classes to contribute and support to contribute to being able to generate faster. And it's possible that we might also take a look at what you have equipped being somewhat related to that, maybe. I did adjust some of the items that were hit hardest by the haste change. So like the more top end things like the chill strike bow and some of the other higher end items that got pretty hard, just because of the level of item that they are and how difficult they are to attain. Those should be improved next patch. Basically all of the Hangor items that have haste on them, they'll still be net a little less than they were before, but did try to kind of bump those items back up after being hit. I know on most of those items I bumped it up to a 54 haste rating. Are we increasing gold? No. We have an interim plan to reduce some of the most egregious gold camps, coin camps, and also to address the spell prices. We have a longer term plan that is more holistic, and then we have a short term plan to kind of get us in a better spot than we are right now. We're also discussing the potential of, with some of the stats, some of the attributes, tweaking what they do just slightly in some cases. As an example, we've talked about the possibility of adding a crit damage component to strength. So strength isn't just like auto attack damage, but it actually has like crit damage modifiers built into it as well. We also need to, strength currently is only affecting the top end of the damage and not the bottom, like lower end of the damage. So strength in general, I think will feel better as a stat. And just some other things that we're looking at just to try and achieve our goal of making more of the stats interesting so the players don't feel like just stacking the snot out of a single stat is always the way to go. Preserver's Wildfire is coming in next patch, yeah. Yes. Druid heals are not being affected by stats or wisdom right now like they should be. For sure, next patch, the seed will. So next patch, the seed's heal portion will be affected by wisdom, and the shield portion will be affected by stamina. I'm going to take a look at the Herode line as well and see if we can get stat growth happening on those. So that should definitely start feeling better next patch. Yeah, Spirit of the Wolf, the stacking rules for Spirit of the Wolf and Spirit of the Wolf and Windstrider, Gale Strider, all that is going to be adjusted a little bit. Essentially, Spirit of the Wolf and Windstrider are not meant to stack like together. Like Spirit of the Wolf is meant to affect your base run speed. Windstrider is meant to affect your sprint speed, and they're both meant to kind of function in those things together and not stack. So we're gonna try to get that fixed for next patch as well. The lore, if you will, behind Cleric is these are highly devout followers of their deity, their celestial. They're the one who has written for them the words and you could almost think of them as like scriptures in these tomes that they have, but they're not complete. One of the things that's loosely kind of understood is that communication and connection with like deity, the celestials of like a cleric, for example, has been cut off. And where before there would be some form of a communion and an ability to connect with the celestial, like let's say Coursera, for example, if we're talking like, you know, a human cleric and whatnot, that's impossible now because of the dynamics at play. And so what clerics have, really all that clerics have left, are these vestiges of these tomes, these like pieces of writs and texts and various things. And that's what that celestial power has been bound to. The plan as it stands right now is that clerics would have innate tomes that they gain access to as they level up, the same as any other spell. But then they would also have tomes that they can quest for, tomes that they can discover as rare items, loot in the world, things like that. And that these tomes function as kind of like, almost like relics in a way, where the different tomes provide benefits to certain spells. They emit light and can serve as a light source, but also kind of like a soft relic or like kind of a secondary relic that gives you a little bit more control over which abilities you're wanting to focus. I'm feeling with the speed of dev post EA. Feeling good. I'm feeling good. And I think soon, hopefully, from what I can see soon, the fruits of a lot of what you guys haven't been able to see is going to be clear in, you know, a string of announcements. You know, obviously the roadmap's a big one that you guys have been interested in. There's some good things on the content horizon.